About this. We've been preparing for this all week. So joining us now, we have Atlanta Mayor Dickens joining us with how the city is preparing and some words of advice for those of us here in Atlanta. So Mayor Dickens, thank you so much for being on with us today. Good morning.
Hey, good morning. Good morning. Thank you for having me on. And yes, this is one of those things we are watching closely and making sure that people know how to be prepared and what to do. Your station is doing a good job of giving them information, but I wanted to make sure I come on here so they can hear it from me as well, that we take these things seriously and we are preparing on the city side in the city limits to make sure that, everything is prepared from our warming centers all the way to salt and brine trucks going out. But mainly the message is stay off the roads tomorrow afternoon, evening on through Sunday. Don't take any unnecessary trips because black ice is difficult for you to detect that it's there, and you could be sliding right into danger. So no unnecessary trips tomorrow afternoon through Sunday.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. And that's the thing about what we're expecting this weekend is that this isn't a snow event. This is an ice event, which is 1,000 times worse, right? And then none of the fun of the snow. So this is something to take very seriously. So we run a lot of stories on warming centers. So I'm glad you mentioned that. Folks can find that on our website. But give us some insight into just, how the city's preparing. We've, of course, spoken with GDOT. We've heard what they're doing on the highways. But what does this look like as far as making sure that the city is prepared for what's expected?
Yeah, so for the last 2 days, all of government has been coordinating. We've been on calls. We've been doing tabletop exercises about incidents that could happen, getting prepared, everything from our 21 salt spreaders and 22 brine trucks. So on the roads and sidewalks, we are prepared, but also everything from our watershed management. Of course, ice is, has the chance of freezing pipes. And so we make sure that our watershed management team is prepared to go in there in the incident of any frozen pipes or pipes bursting. We also have provisions that we're making around making sure that our fire stations and our police cars and everything are capable of moving around in the case of an emergency. The world's busiest airport is a department of the city. So how do we manage Hartsfield-Jackson in case of delays or cancellations? People will be stuck in the airport. How do they eat? How are the bathrooms and facilities being maintained and taken care of? But our most vulnerable people, our senior citizens and our people experiencing homelessness, we are making sure that we check in on them, as well as open warming centers. We have 3 open, with the 4th as an overflow that are prepared for our guests to make sure that they have food, have safety, have showers and clean, amenities for them to be taken care of during this winter weather. So all of the above. And then, of course, our weekend programming for youth at our recreation centers are canceled so that we can make sure that you're at home safe and off of the roads. But we're doing all we can. And the last thing I'll say is we're making sure that the people are prepared to take care of themselves. Mm-hmm. They should be out there getting water at the grocery store, getting food, making sure you have candles, making sure your batteries are charged so that in the event that power goes out, you have the ability to power your devices.
Yeah, I'm so glad you mentioned that. We have a checklist of things that we need to be doing to prepare to be able to take care of ourselves. And then the other takeaway from what you were saying, stay off the roads, right? Saturday night on into Sunday. You don't need to, get it done beforehand. It's the big takeaway here, right?
Exactly. I know there's some big events and galas and parties and things on Saturday night, and of course church on Sunday morning, worship services. A lot of pastors are proactively taking the wise decision to tell their parishioners we're going to be virtual on Sunday morning so that people aren't driving in dangerously trying to get to church service. I think that's a wise decision to go ahead on and call it now and say, hey, especially if you're on the north end of the city on up through the Metro North, you should probably see, that 7 a.m., 9 a.m. service. Yeah. It's going to be still cold and icy. You might want to just, park it for today. And then, everybody will be safe in that way. So everybody just stay home, love on your family, watch some good news stations, TV, and, we'll get back at, all the fun stuff again as this weather clears up. Make sure you know when to call 911 and when to call 311. 911 is for emergency emergencies, medical, fire, or violent crime, et cetera. 311 is for non-emergency, such as, a tree that's fallen or some limbs in the roadway, et cetera. We will get to all of that in due time.
There we have it. Atlanta Mayor Andre Dickens spending time with us this morning with a very important message for all of us. So Mayor Dickens, thank you so much. We appreciate it. Good to see you.
Good to see you too. Thank you.
It's 9:31.